Hello and welcome to Three Questions with. Got my buddy Kevin Cote with us from Saddle Up Tree Service. Hey Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Kevin.
So give me a little bit of a background about the business.
So the tree industry, is many different aspects of the tree industry. You have actual tree removals, which is what most people think that, we do. But there's also a whole other aspect of the tree world where we can look at your trees. We can give you an analysis of if it's healthy, what might need to be done to actually help it grow a specific way. A lot of times people will plant a new tree and we can prune it so it actually will grow a specific way toward, like, say, away from your house versus towards your house.
Wow.
We have the ability to, look at the root structure of your roots and see if your tree's getting enough water, enough nutrients. So there's a lot of things that we do besides, the the actually removal of a tree, which is very basic, and that's the actually easy part of the job.
So that's amazing to me. You can actually make a tree grow in a certain direction. So like, because people like, oh, it's coming towards my house. So they panic and they just chop it down.
Correct. So a lot of people look at, oh my God, this tree is growing over my house. And then, I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a client's house and it's not the tree. They just actually have a big leader or a big limb that's growing over the tree. And we can actually just remove that limb only and do it safely. There's many ways that we can do that. We can use cranes, which is, people are like, oh my God, it's so dangerous. That's actually the easy way to do it. And then there's also other techniques we use where we climb the tree. We can climb with spikes. We can climb without spikes. There's rigging techniques. If you don't know what rigging is using basically physics to lower a limb down safely, to the ground.
I'm just amazed by it when you like people like yourself who are actually tree climbers and they look up and you're way up there, you're strapped in and just doing what you need to do. Because honestly, Kev, I'm afraid of heights. I can go up okay, I just can't come back down. That's the problem. So when I see that, I'm just fascinated by it. Like you said, that it's sometimes I just think people don't think about the education, the physics involved in actually doing it. So you're doing it so you're safe, the tree's safe, and the homeowner's safe. It's a lot more complicated.
I finally caved in, and I'm going to be going to take the arborist exam. About 10 years ago, they started working on the arborist exam, where they started changing it. The old arborist exam used to just focus on like terminology and basic tree identification, and if you knew like the Latin names, like like quercus is for oak tree, and basic stuff like that. But they missed their, the complaint was that doesn't make you an arborist. The arborist should know a whole host of things, microbes that, will create nutrients in the soil, stuff that helps, compost in the soil to break down and create nutrients for your root system. How much water does a tree need? How much pruning is good for a tree? When should you prune a tree? Most people think, oh, I'm just going to prune a tree. Well, most trees, like fruit trees, need to be pruned in the wintertime. So, and they were neglecting to look at the complete aspect. And climbing is now, wow, there's my dog, it's Rex. And then now these organizations have looked at, well, what actually does an arborist do? We spend a lot of time climbing. So now they question you on the different climbing techniques that are available. Some people think, oh, I had a guy spike up my tree to remove a limb. Well, we would never spike a tree if we were going to keep it there. We would use ropes and different techniques to get into the tree without spiking it, because the spikes could damage the tree.
Right.
Now that I got the material to take the test, I'm actually impressed, because now there's about 12 different sections that they're going to test you on. So if you think about that, it's no longer just tree identification.
Right.
There's tree identification, there's soil management, there's pest management, there's fertilizing trees, what fertilizers you should be using on which tree, when to fertilize. Most people don't know that if you use an insecticide and the tree is going to bloom, well, that will affect the bee population. So there's so many avenues to the arborist world that most people think that we just take trees down, and there's
that's why. Yeah. So now, what is your service area, Kev? What area do you cover?
So I try to cover a small area. I'm based out of Pelham, Wyndham, Salem, Hudson, Dracut, Methuen. I try to stay north of 495.
Yep.
Stay south of Manchester, and pretty much from Route 3 east over to, like, the Kingston area.
So if people just have questions, they want you to come out, take a look at a tree, give you some advice, how do they go about reaching out to you to do that, Kevin?
So my phone number is 978-996-8434. So obviously you can call me there. On Facebook, it's through facebook.com/saddleupts. And I'll be doing an Instagram. I'll be doing Instagram, so I'll be doing that too. So you can, message me on Facebook, either through the, obviously through the tree page, or through, my personal page, Kevin Cote. So I have a host of ways to I used to have a website. I decided to get rid of it because everybody's, it's like Facebook now.
Sure.
There's so many other ways, and the Facebook platform allows us to do so much more. Like, I can do videos, educational videos. Some people just like seeing us in the tree with chainsaws on our face, and it's exciting, but it's a different perspective. I think nothing of it, but people are like, oh my God, that's crazy.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by it. I'm like, wow, how did you do that? Like, well, you're trying to take that. I'm like, how's he going to land that branch without taking out the wires? So just totally fascinated by it, because I don't have the ability to do it, obviously. So cool deal. Kevin, really appreciate you taking a few minutes to jump on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.